guys, and welcome to my latest video for PM Stampin'. Today I am going to show you how to make this pop and twist card. So it starts off a lovely simple card and ta-da! It is just fantastic. This is using the beautiful U stamp set. It is all using the in colours that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I have used watercolour pencils this time, which is something that I've just quite new at, so they're not perfect, but they look really fantastic. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these today. It is super easy, so much easier than you would expect. So here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run through what it is that we're going to need. You might want to pause this as we go and just write them down. I am changing the colour scheme ever so slightly for this card, and I am going to use a different stamp set. But for our mechanism piece, which will make sense to you later on, I'm using Very Vanilla, and it is 8.5 by 10 3/4 inches. For the main base piece of the card, I'm using Emerald Envy, and it is 4.25 by 11. I have another piece of Emerald Envy. This I'm going to call the arm piece, and it is 11 by 3. I have two pieces of DSP. I've used the Carried Away DSP because I'm going to be using the stamp set that coordinates with this. And these are 3 3/4 by 5.5. I have 4 panel pieces, and they are 2 3/4 by 2.5 each. And I have one last piece of Emerald Envy and one last piece of Very Vanilla, and these are going to be used for my sentiment, and they are 3 by 2 and 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. Today I'm going to use the Lift Me Up stamp set. I'll be using the large balloon, the smaller balloon, a cloud, and the sentiment I'm going to go for today is hope your day is on cloud 9, happy birthday. So the first thing we're going to do is do our scoring. This is on the mechanism piece of Very Vanilla. So on the long side at the top, we're going to score it at 3 7/8. We're going to score it at 5 3/8. And we're going to score it at 6 7/8. Like so. Then we're going to turn it around. So with the short side at the top, we are going to score at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. Like so. Okay, so I'm really conscious that you probably can't see this too well, and I wouldn't normally do this in real life, but what we're going to do next is we are going to cut out the 4 long rectangles. Now these are absolutely perfect to keep, to use for sentiments, but for the purpose of the video I'm going to show you. So we are going to cut out this bit here, we are going to cut out this bit here, we are going to cut out this bit here, and we're going to cut out this bit here. Okay, in real life I would never do that. They are absolutely perfect sizes for sentiments on different cards, and especially with it being Very Vanilla. And if you're using Whisper White again, I would absolutely recommend you keep them, but I'm just hoping that you can see them a little bit better there. So I'm just going to cut these out with scissors. You can use your trimmers if you would prefer, but it is just straight up and along on all 4 of these, and we're going to take these out. Okay, so once you are done, you end up with a template that looks like this. Now the bit that we're going to do next is the hardest piece on this card. It really is, and it is a little bit tricky, but once you've done this, the rest of it is plain sailing and just decorating, okay? So when we cut this and we've scored it, we have a centre piece where the line runs down the middle and across, and we have that centre piece there. That centre piece is very important. We are going to place our finger on here, and we want to get this bit here down here so that that middle line matches this middle line, and it runs through the middle perfectly, through this middle piece here. Quite hard to explain. I'm going to show you on one side and then we'll go from there. Normally I would use my bone folder and just place that in the centre as a central point, but I seem to have misplaced it, which I find highly amusing since I've just tidied up my table, but I seem to have misplaced it, so I'm just going to use this tool here from my scoring board. All I'm going to do is pull this round, and we want this centre to be in centre with that one. Once it starts moving, I can take this out. It just helps it. Okay, so it isn't going to be perfectly at the corner. That's not what we want. What we do want is it to be perfect in that central piece there, and in line down here. Now I hope that made sense. Sorry, I had to go and find it because I really need it. Okay, and we're going to score this down. We're going to press this down really nice. If you get this right now, it will make life a lot easier. Okay, so when we fold it open, you will see it runs right through that central bit. Okay, it's not quite right here and it's not quite right there, but it goes right through the center, and that's the most important part. Okay, so we've done this side. Now we just do the exact same for this side. Just pop my bone folder in there, and it just helps it to set off really. Take it out. Line up your middle seam with there, right down. Make sure we push down until we're going through the middle. Once it's all lined up, give it a squidge. Okay, and we open it out and it's gone through the middle. I have pressed down really hard in the vain hope that you can see this. Sorry, my phone went off. So I have pressed down really hard, which have made really big creases. But I've done that so that you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. And you know what, this is a mechanism, it's going to be inside the card and nobody's going to see it. But I would make sure that you do get these really, really down tightly. Like so, and like so. And there you go. That is the hard bit out of the way, I promise. That is it. So the rest of it is all plain sailing. Okay, so the next bit is to just make the mechanism work really. So I'm just going to squeeze these two sides just ever so gently. We need them to fold in on themselves. So give them a squeeze, give them a squeeze, give them a squeeze, and they will just naturally fold in. Okay, now this is a good time just to get it lined up. All lined up. Give it one last go over there. And that is our mechanism all made. So at this point, we can see what the mechanism is going to look like. So if you hold the bottom and pull the top up, that is what your mechanism looks like. Just like that, and that's what's going to make the card work, okay? Awesome, so now we're going to leave this to one side. That, I promise you, that is the hardest bit out the way. It's all about decorating and making things pretty now. Okay, so we're just going to park this to one side for now. So now I'm just going to score the last of the two pieces that I need to score. So this is the arm piece. So this is 11 inches by 3 inches, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. Like so. We're going to score it at 5 1/2. And I'm going to score it at 8 1/4. And this is the card base itself. So this is 4 1/2 by 11, and we're just going to score this at 5 1/2. This one we fold straight over. So that's the actual card base. Now we're going to concentrate on the arm quickly. So just fold it in half and then fold each bit back on itself. Just give it a bit of a crease. Make sure they're nice and sharp. And it should look like this, should kind of look like an M to you. That's what we're looking for. So we'll park that up to one side, and we're going to bring in our 4 panels. Okay, just bear in mind that they aren't perfect squares. So they are 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. So you want them the 2 1/2 way up, if that makes sense. If you did them this way, they're just not going to fit quite right. They need to be this way. I hope you can see that. So they need to be this way and not this way, because it doesn't quite fit in your panel. They're cut perfectly, so they do fit, but you have to remember, because it's only slightly, you have to remember they need to be like long ways. So I tend to put them out on my paper long ways, and although I'm only going to deal with one at a time, I keep them all that way. I've got all the stamps that I'm going to be using ready mounted on their blocks, and it's just a case of decorating them. You could do this however you like. I haven't made this card specifically, so I am winging it a little bit. I have a bit of an idea of what I want. So I'm going to ink up my big balloon. A little bit more there, I think. And we are going to stamp him just on there, like so. I think that's going to do for him. I'm going to do the same on this one, but with a smaller balloon. fact, I might do 2. Just have him slightly hanging off the edge, like so. On the third one, I think I might do a big one over this side and a smaller one on this side. And then on my last one, I'm going to do the sentiment. So we're going to ink this one up well. Now I know that this doesn't quite fit on here, so I am actually going to put it on diagonally. Like so, upside down, but nevertheless it is there. So my little cloud I'm going to use on all of them, and I'm going to use the in colours for these ones. So that's Peekaboo Peach, Flirty Flamingo, Emerald Envy, Dapper Denim and Sweet Sugar Plum. So again, we just ink him up. Remembering he's like that way, so I'm going to keep these ones straight. I'm just going to kind of dot them about. Not too much ink on that one. Doesn't have to be perfect. They are clouds that are allowed to wander. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off quickly and I'll do the rest of the colours and I'll come back to you at the end. Okay, there we go. I am all stamped up. I've used all of the 5 ink colours, 1 on each of the 4 panels. Even if it's just a little bit on the edges. I have pressed a little bit too hard on a couple of them, but I think I can get away with it. They are clouds, so. But a word for the wise, the really little stamps like this, they don't need as much, and you just press on them very lightly to get the effect. If you do press on them hard, like you would some of your bigger stamps, you do get the ring around the outside a lot easier. So just a quick one there. So now we just need to glue them all on here. Okay, so we've stuck them all down. You can just do them in any order that you'd like. It doesn't really matter. I do like to have the sentiment on at least one of the middle ones, but other than that, it's just free rein. Make sure that you leave a little bit of a border around each square. But that's it. They're all stuck down to our arm. So we're going to bring back the mechanism now. And we're going to line up the very middle score of here with the very middle score of the mechanism. So we know that it's central, really. We're going to pull back one of these and hopefully you can see that in this bit that's exposed you've got one top portion and one bottom with the score in the middle. We're going to apply some glue. Oh heck, I wobbled. Okay, back. Okay, so we're going to apply some glue to one of those halves. Now, if you do the top on this one, you do the bottom on the other side. If you do the bottom on this one, you do the top on the other side. It really doesn't matter which. I'm just going to do the top on this side. Once I've got it back lined up, you're just going to close it up again. Okay, then we pull this one back. So we did the top on that one, so we do the bottom on this one. Hopefully you can see. Bottom on there. And close it back up. Okay, gonna leave that for just a couple of seconds. Tombow glue doesn't take very long at all. I have to give it all the little creases just a little wiggle to keep them right, but it should just collapse in on itself. Now there will be a bit showing at the bottom, don't panic too much about that. Okay, and I like to give them a good score again. The key to a lot of this card is making sure that this section here is completely right. Okay, so just again hold the bottom and the top. Out it comes. In it goes. Okay, so I'm just going to open it out again for a second and we're going to do the DSP. Now, you can just do it for this bottom bit here if you like, and if you do, you just need to make these smaller. But I do like them to disappear in slightly. like so. You see what I mean? But if I left it that big, we would end up having a bit of an issue there. So what we are going to do is fold it back up slightly. And we are going to just line it up if it's a little bit of a gap. I know this is the wrong side, but it does the same thing. I'm going to flip it over. And I need to trim these bits off here. You aren't going to be able to see this bit, but just a touch underneath it should be fine. Okay. When we open it out, it fits in there with your gap round, just like that. Before we glue him in, we're just going to have a quick look at this side. So the balloons here are all floating downwards, and we want the balloons to float downwards on this one also. We don't want the balloons to be floating like upside down. I hope that makes sense. We want the balloons to be floating down. So it means that the point needs to be at the bottom of this one. So just using this one here, make sure you line them up. And I'm just going to cut along this one here, like so. So that when I put them both in, all the balloons are heading in the same direction. It's not the end of the world if you do it the other way around, but I just find it's a lot cleaner and smarter if you have it like this. So we're just going to glue those in, and there you go, all balloons heading in the same direction. Okay, and there it goes, in and out, in and out, in and out. So next and almost last, we're going to quickly do the front of this. I actually forgot to tell you about what was going on the front of this. I'm really sorry. So I will just quickly let you know. Obviously we're using the sentiment piece that I did tell you about, but I forgot to tell you that I'm also going to use a piece of the DSP that's on the inside, but just a thin strip. Now because I cut this was for the inside, it fits perfectly, but I only want maybe 2.5 inches. So there, he's cut a 2.5, and it just leaves that little bit of room around the outside. We'll just stick him on. From the thoughtful branches, I'm just going to use the For You stamp just to go on the front. It already has the happy birthday on the inside. So we'll stamp him on there, and then we'll just stick him to the green piece, like so. Use a couple of dimensionals just to stick it on. I will be doing it just kind of off center, so somewhere around there I think. So just on there, so that's the front of the card. Okay, so to stick it all together, open your card base out. We want to get this lined up so that there is a little bit of a gap around the outside. Nothing too major. Okay, and we don't want to go past the line with this at all in any way, shape or form, otherwise it won't work, okay? So make sure there's a little gap around the outside, gives it a bit of a matte feel. And we're going to put glue on here. All we're going to do is shut the book. Okay. Once it's shut and you're happy with it, we're just going to pick it all up from the bottom, turn it back around, and do the same thing from this side, and then shut the book. Press down. At this point I have a disclaimer. I dropped my card and my dog got it. So when I open it, it does work and it looks okay, but it does have some chew marks in it. Okay, so then it's ready to open. So we're going to open it and hope it works now. And it works just like that. You'll see the damages here slightly. I've had to sticky tape it ever so slightly, and it got it a bit here, so I've trimmed it as much as I can. But you get the idea, okay? So it's shut and it opens, and they look fantastic. I just love them. I really do. I think they're brilliant. They're such fantastic little cards. I don't think I've made a video yet that has just gone smoothly from start to finish. I might have to give up. But you get the idea, and everything's there. And it just works so brilliantly. I love them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or queries, please just let me know. I will leave my details at the bottom. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye.